Hello, world. This is Barbie Lee. This is Shake Talk with Quality of Life Assurance and the best breakfast ever. Of course, my Isogenics Iceline Shake. And Quality of Life Assurance is all about living from a better body and a better bank account, right? Don't you just want to totally live until you die? Like, seriously. Like, I've already decided I'm going to die at 123, right? I'm going to be dancing with maybe some man named Juan or something, and he's going to dip me, and I'm just going to die, right? And then I'm going to have this big bouncy castle margarita machine kind of party, and we're really just going to celebrate, right? So I'm all about living every moment and experiencing the juicy and deliciousness of life every moment. So I take damn good care of my body because it is the only place I have to live. I use network marketing as residual income as my my vehicle. Ooh, chocolate mint as my vehicle to allow me to still, make some money and do the things that I want to do. So we, for the last 16 weeks or so, have been talking about this book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Can you see that? This is on my Kindle. I almost said Tinder. I'm not on Tinder. Don't go looking for me. So we've talked about such brilliant chapters and topics as taking radical responsibility, learning through curiosity, feeling all feelings, speaking candidly, eliminating gossip, practicing integrity, generating appreciation, excelling in your zone of genius, living a life of play and rest, exploring the opposites, sourcing approval, control, and security, having enough of everything, experiencing the world as an ally, creating win for all situations, and being the resolution. So love all of these chapters, right? And you can go and hashtag the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership here on Facebook, or you can go find most of them. I think I've uploaded most of them. I'll double check this week on my YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Barbie Lee Hemmings, right? YouTube.com, obviously, /Barbie Lee Hemmings. So here's what's really great about this book. Now, it speaks from a leadership point of view. So it talks about being above the line or below the line. I don't like that terminology. I think it's very judgy, right? Like, oh, you're being below the line, which, by the way, somebody said to me on Friday. And I'm thinking, if you are below the line, that's the only way you can see if I'm below the line. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a whole other issue. So I look at it as a conscious and unconscious position or thought or leadership or way of living or whatever that looks like, right? So to me, I call it conscious or unconscious. So this first one, taking radical responsibility. So in a situation in your life, are you taking radical responsibility? Are you conscious and being aware of what your responsibility is? Or are you being unconscious and not aware, right? And you're just letting shit happen and you're blaming people and you're in that shame and blame game. And, are you bullying people? Because that's not taking responsibility, right? That's crazy talk, right? So, Ice cube. We'll do small. So in radical responsibility, are you taking 100% responsibility for who you are showing up as in this world, right? So the other day we were talking about, so one of the chapters is zone of genius, experiencing your zone of genius. And my zone of genius is to be Barbie Lee. And, people look at me and go, I don't understand, you're not a verb, right? Well, in my world, I get what that means, right? That means being energetic, means being an unconditional love, being friendly, seeing the bigger picture and bringing people in, right? It used to drive my kids crazy when they were younger and they were doing an activity at cadets or something, and I'd poke one of my kids and I'd point over to the side and they'd wander over because there'd be a kid over there by themselves and they'd, go and bite them. But the interesting thing about that now is they actually do that now without mom having to poke them. They notice these things, right? Because I'm all about people having a really great experience on this planet, and there's no doubt that I found a career in network marketing, and I'm helping people have the best experience, right? Like it's perfect for me, right? So when I'm doing this book and when I'm talking about the things in the book and when we were talking about zone of genius and I said everything comes back to the first chapter, which is taking radical responsibility. Because if you don't do that, you can't learn through curiosity, because you're not going to be curious because you're not taking responsibility for your own learning, right? You can't feel all your own feelings, right? Like, oops, I changed the page here. You can't feel all your own feelings because you haven't taken responsibility to who you are and what the situation is. Oh my gosh, I love my Kindle. It just went all the way back and I don't know what I just did. So how do I get back? There we go. Whew, there we go. Okay, back to the pages. Okay. I can't speak candidly if I haven't taken responsibility for my thoughts. So as far as I'm concerned, this is and that's why it's number one, right? Because if you're not willing to take responsibility for your actions, then just so I'm not judging anybody, right? I'm watching me in the camera, okay? So I'm like, Barbie Lee, if you're not taking 100% responsibility. So there's a situation in my world where it's just messed up. And I have to laugh because it's just kind of funny. But it's just messed up, right? So on Friday, somebody told me I was below the line. And I was like, seriously? Okay, sure. You can have your perspective, right? I didn't agree with it, but that's okay. And then I was told that I'm, doing something. I was like, that doesn't sound like me at all. So I was able to, those of you that know and love me know that I kind of live by the Don Miguel 4 agreements, right? In case you didn't know it, that's on the back of my agenda. Anyway, so I had to deal with this, right? And I wanted to talk to the person in person, and I couldn't because whatever, it doesn't matter. So I called and ended up leaving a message, and my message said this, right? I just, I had left a message. I'm taking responsibility for, how I felt. That's what I figured, right? I said, this is how that situation was interpreted by me. And I said, I'd like to have this clearing conversation. And the person got back to me, goes, well, if only you're going to be kind to me. And I had to laugh because the whole reason I called that person is because they were extremely unkind to me on Friday. And they didn't even acknowledge that. They would not take responsibility for their role in that. And I just have to go, okay, what is mine to do here? And I, you know what? God bless the other person. They can live whatever life they want. They can have whatever experience they want. But I know who I am, and I'm taking 100% responsibility for my role here. And my role is to be Barbie Lee, right? To come from this unconditional love, this growing, this living, this learning, this, I spoke to a bunch of people yesterday about like, what's your zone of genius? And then we had a couple of conversations, and then one lady was like, well, I'm really good at it. I'm like, no. That might be your zone of excellence, but what's your zone of genius? She looks at me and she's like, I've never thought about it. So I gave her a couple of questions, and they're from the book, right? From chapter 8, commitment 8 in the book. And she's like, she goes, I'll get back to you, right? So I love helping people, move into who they truly are. I always tell people when they meet me, right? If someone says, oh, like, do you know Barbie Lee? You never get this, yeah, I know Barbie Lee. You always get that, yeah, I know Barbie Lee. Or you get that, yeah, I know Barbie Lee, right? Because I'm totally, this is it, right? This is me, right? Some guy said to me the other day, next time I talk to you, I'm going to tie your hands down and see if you can actually utter a word. I'm like, I can't, because I need my hands. Anyway, so I always say, I am Barbie Lee, right? And I will apologize if what I say offends you or hurts you, but I will never apologize for being me, right? Now, if the bitch Barbie Lee came out to play, I might, apologize for that if, I'm not really paying attention. But typically, I don't apologize for who I am because I am who I am and I love who I am. So in this whole conscious or unconscious conversation, the book calls it above the line and below the line. And they used it because it's a business book and they're talking about, in business, they always talk about the bottom line while they're talking about above the line, below the line. I want to talk about conscious and unconscious. So when I look at all of this and I go, every moment of every day, I get to choose whether I'm conscious or unconscious, right? And most of the time, we automatically default to unconscious, right? You drive into work, you don't know how you got there, okay? So over this next week here, these next few days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when I do these at 8 a.m. Mountain, we're going to be talking about the conscious and unconscious more as a whole, taking little excerpts from the book. So it's kind of like a recap of the book. So over this week, go back. My talks are only 10 minutes. Go back, watch a few of them, right? Watch them in a week at a time, right? Watch all of Commitment 1. It'll take you 30 minutes. And then you can catch up. I suggest go buy the book, right? Go and check it out and say, oh my gosh, it is crazy how unconscious I am so much of the time. And it really will bring things to your awareness. Because truly, ladies and gentlemen, like seriously, life is meant to be juicy and delicious. Life is meant to be lived fully. It is a participatory sport. So be conscious and make good choices. We'll see you next time.